All right, guys, we're pretty much labeled as the Nintendo fanboys, but really, I mean, I've seen a lot of things that's been going on. Is like pretty much Nintendo's been striking back, and also they've been putting out products that maybe we don't always approve of. And one of those things is like what just came out was the Alarmo.
As when today, that way we'll date the podcast. Today, something came out called the Alarmo. And when I saw the reveal for this, I was like, all right, Nintendo's doing something funny, something goofy. I was like, there's got to be some like really cool trick they're doing or something that's going to blow my socks off. Waited till the end of the day. We were all kind of crap talking it, joking about it. I watched it and I was like, it hit me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time Nintendo's ever put out something like big, made an announcement, like their own thing. Like they've done, the theme parks and the movies and even the Labo. Like when I saw that, I was like, that looks so cool. The Alarmo is the dumbest looking thing I've ever seen a company put out. It's a prominent company. Zero purpose. Looks like the technology you can get from Temu. Like it's an alarm clock. I was like, oh, there's going to be some crazy thing where it like replays on the screen like your last speed run you did on Nintendo Switch Online or something. And you could watch it there. When
something
you
way cooler than just an alarm clock.
And it was like, nope, it's an alarm clock. It ended, and I'm like, oh, it's an alarm clock.
I thought when you shared that, Ben, that it was some like bootleg thing that you were buying.
Really?
Yeah, and well, then I watched the promo trailer for it, and it said official Nintendo product, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's why it was crazy.
Yeah,
but it does this thing where like if it detects you're moving, then it plays sounds to keep on trying to wake you up. Or
Is that supposed to impress us at this point? Is it the Kinect?
I mean, why? Why would they put money into that technology? I think everybody thought like the new Switch 2 is being announced when they had announced a piece of hardware.
The problem I think with it isn't that they made it; it's that they announced it, like as its own little direct thing. When you see that, I feel like that's the kind of item you go to a Target and you see it and you're like, oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
sure,
right.
I'll buy a little Nintendo alarm clock.
It should
cool.
get so much attention for what it is.
It's $100 too, right?
Yeah,
it's $100.
Yeah,
man,
for an alarm clock.
I mean, I call those kind of things tchotchke.
Yeah.
They're like just tchotchke little gimmicky things.
Gimmick.
So for $100, like they must have put a lot of development into this.
You could buy actual Mr. Gimmick for less, which is a good game. So,
Are any of you guys planning on buying it?
Maybe if like a hammer came out and like hit me to wake me up, that'd be awesome.
I actually instantly added it to my cart and I was gonna buy it, and then I even was messaging with Gabbo and he bought it right away because he said his daughter would like it or something. But then I gave up. I chose not to buy it, man. I was like, I'd rather spend my $100 on something cooler.
Well, self-control. I like that, Ben.
I tried it in my mind. I was running it through like, would I use this? And I was picturing it next to my bed, and then how it like makes noises as you get up and move and all this. And I realized I would have just like drop kicked that thing. One day I would have been like, shut up, leave me alone.
And there's plenty of times where I'll go in my bed and like relax for a minute and then get up to do something and I'm like, I don't want it to be going off. And let's be real. I'm just going to say it as a lot of us have significant others and wives in this room, and all of you might as well. But I don't want Nintendo filming my bed. Like, what do you mean, bro? Even though I know it's not technically filming, I'm like, the last thing I need is to tell my wife, like, oh, don't worry, that's like kind of watching us.
It just detects movement. So
yeah.
don't
I
worry.
was picturing my wife if I brought that home the next morning, waking up, hearing all these like
You guys are doing
Mario Kart and coin
You guys
things,
are,
or that.
you guys are doing it. It's like, ding, 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 ding.
It's like you get up.
Here we go. Here we go. As you get hard. Here we go. Sorry, just hard reading the Bible. Yeah, but then also right now, Nintendo, I didn't read up too much on this, but maybe Curtis or one of you guys will know better, but I do know they're also like, a lot of people have been complaining about like strike downs, and what are they getting strict on right now?
Basically, what Nintendo's been doing is they have been aiming their sights on people who have been using modding or even emulation to do newer games. And in that, Nintendo's been pretty much copyright striking, saying it's against their copyright laws to be able to pretty much use emulation to play their games and record on YouTube.
Well, I mean, I get it. Anything new, I mean, it whether we like it or not, it's their product, right?
Yeah.
And in reality, it is their product. Yes, is emulation out there? Yes. It does feel different with retro, even though, let's be real, probably every single person listening to this plays with emulation, right? That's just probably the reality of retro, right? Not newer stuff. With the newer stuff, I get it. It does feel different, just like even like mentally, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. They can still make money on that.
I think what
But-
the question is that what people are having is like how legal is it for Nintendo to keep pressing a legal issue against them, and when it is a legal thing to do is emulate games. My voice. But it is something that you can legally do, but they're saying that it's against their copyright rules, and so that's the reason why they're giving those strikes out.
So it's not streaming their games; it's emulating them and streaming.
Yes.
It's
Now, when is
streaming
it
the emulated game?
When is
Yeah.
it
Got it.
legal? Personal use?
I mean, yeah, you could use it as personal use. I've seen it on multiple channels. People have been stating like pretty much Nintendo's been pressing like a legal issue with it, and most people don't want to fight it. They just take down the video, and no one wants to fight with Nintendo because they love their products.
So does it
We all
cross
do.
over into illegal because YouTube is technically commercial use because there's money to be made on it? Like I don't sell anything reproduction or emulations in my stores because it's illegal. It is not legal for me. Now I might be able to sell hardware that you could do it yourself, but if you are showing it in a video, is that technically illegal?
I wouldn't say that because that's a free use thing, right? They're just saying it's against their copyright use. So that in turn is violating a copyright law or a copyright in YouTube. So they're allowed to take down their video.
So at the end of the day, my opinion is I think Nintendo just does that to just get your attention, to say it's like a nudge that says, hey,
I'm still in power.
We see you. We don't like what you're doing. So we're going to copyright this. That's my opinion.
Kind of reminds me of like I think it was either Napster or LimeWire, how like one person got chosen as the person that got sued for like millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Almost as like the scapegoat of like,
Set an
you see,
example. Yeah.
like even right now, we're having a conversation. I'll admit, very kind of pretty uninformed. Just kind of saw the buzzword, so we
We're
wanted
not
to.
experts. I just see
No,
like
I'm not
general.
legal eagle or whatever. I'm bald eagle, but we can still talk about it. But what it does is it catches your attention. Right?
Sure.
You don't even necessarily, it's like, when a law gets passed and you flip on YouTube and you see some guy getting arrested and thrown in the back of a cop car for doing whatever it is. You're like, ooh, I didn't know that was illegal, right? Whatever it may be,
Sure.
it just kind of puts into your brain. In the world of Nintendo, everyone's like, I probably should steer away from anything emulation within the newer stuff because I don't want to get consequences.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, is it going to stop people from emulating
Not really.
Nintendo games? I don't really think so. So I don't really understand why they're doing it,
I think it's for the reasons you said. They're just anti-piracy is what it is. Like
Which
this
is,
is our IP, and if you're using basically emulation, they probably look at it as like, okay, you stole our IP, you didn't purchase that, and therefore, like you said, they just want to like put a stop to it from all different angles. But so
I think
yeah.
most people are just scared to go into a legal battle with a product that they actually enjoy. You know what I mean? Like they probably don't have the money to fight Nintendo, right? I just think this is a big lawyer push against people who want to mod and have access to these games, and they can't, maybe not afford them. You never know.
You think they would win that battle if they did that?
Yes, I think so. I think somebody is actually fighting it. I would have to do a little research on it, but they're not winning it, obviously, yet. But nothing has been pushed against Nintendo, like, officially.
I mean, I would compare it to this. Like, if I was doing movie reviews, right, and I walked into the movie theater and went and filmed Joker 2 on my phone and then came home and was like, hey, guys, look, I just watched Joker 2. Look at this. And, like, the directors of that are like, yo, you can't show that movie. Like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you're illegally, like, showing that movie or that game or somebody else's property on YouTube.
I get what you're saying.
Is that a good analogy? Does that make sense?
And what I'm saying is, like, as much as a lot of us don't like it, in the reality, the law is the law, right? Like, if that really is just the law, like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, tough. Like, there might be certain things that we don't like about it, but in a different perspective, say we did something or made something, right? Our own thing. And people started getting it for free. I'd be like, what the crap?
Well, here, let me ask you this question. So what if somebody took an old Pixel Game Squad episode and they downloaded it somehow off of YouTube, and then they modified it or used it in such a way where it benefited them?
It's been done.
For their monetary value. So does that bother you?
No, but I'm also smaller. So I look at it as in a way of like, I like that, and I want more people to clip our videos and put out things and make. I don't care. But if I was someone who I don't like Nintendo,
even if you didn't know the person,
yeah, I don't care.
they're just like a new YouTube channel.
People who uploaded all our older original videos that we just watched. There's whole channels dedicated to our old videos.
I think what Ben would like say is like, let's say they did that but made us look bad. like something like that.
There you go.
What about what
But I
if
mean,
they
that's like a
flipped
review
it?
channel, right?
Exactly, like a review channel. What if they're dogging on your product?
I mean, people dog on us all the time.
That's true.
People dog on Phoenix Resale. I mean, what are you gonna do? They show his footage and they watch him and go. I think it becomes fair use if you're like a certain amount of time talking over it versus not. But that's always been such a dodgy thing on YouTube, not even Nintendo specific.
Yeah.
Where all these review channels of movies get taken down. Like, dude, I was talking the whole time. I'm reviewing it. It's fair use. But YouTube is very inconsistent with that. Very inconsistent. You never know. People to this day are like, hey, you edit. How long of a clip can I use of a movie before I get I don't know. It always changes. I've used 10,000 video game songs, and only one has ever got me demonetized. It was the Silent Hill opening intro.
Oh, that's so
That
good.
music got me demonetized. Music, I've used music for split seconds before from like the Beatles and stuff. Nothing. And then one day I did like Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, like a split second and demonetized the whole video. So it's just like when I used to watch a lot of like content creation channels, they said the best bet for making content, don't use anything of anybody else's. That's it. Be your own thing. On 100% dependent on your own, which I get totally. But like I admit in a lot of our videos, we use like old Nintendo music. I don't think they really care about the old Nintendo music as much. I admit I use it and take that risk. I'm like, yeah, but it does set the tone more fun, and
It does set the
gets
tone very
nostalgic in
good.
your brain, and you hear a little theme song from Bubsy, and you remember playing Bubsy, and no one ever plays that song. So you're like, oh, you see it in the comments, oh, I used to play Bubsy. Thanks for using that song. But it's just such a dicey thing that I don't feel like it's ever hammered in. I feel like I hear Nintendo taking down creators every other year. Nintendo's got to take down these creators. Nintendo's going to smack down on, and I hate piracy. It's not good. For sure, every movie like starts with, I remember back in the days, you'd put in a VHS tape. Piracy is illegal. Do not listen to
FBI warning thing.
Yeah, FBI warning.
Yep.
Talk about scaring you.
Yeah. And if you guys like want to be more informed on the whole Nintendo subject, you guys can go look over at his name is Mr. Sujanu. He does a lot of the more current news, like kind of things that are going on with like Nintendo and like creators and all that stuff.
Yeah, watch a news channel like
Yeah.
Spawn Wave or something if you want your information.
Ours
This
is more of just a speculation and
Yeah,
opinion.
we're just
We
talking
don't-
about this like we don't really know it
Just
that much.
idiots.
free.
We just like games.
Oh yeah, that came out today. What was going on?
And a lot of people say that we don't talk enough negative news about Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't do everything perfect. We know that.
No,
Right?
listen, Xbox fans and Sony fans, admit it. You guys suck. Okay,
Oh, man.
You've had bad couple years. The most excited anyone's been about PlayStation is in the last week, Silent Hill 2.
Yeah.
Let me think. A game that's already been out because those were your heydays. Accept defeat and start over. Make some good IPs, Xbox and PlayStation. All right, God of War is not going to save you for the rest of your life. Xbox, no one cares about Halo anymore.
I
Time
care
to move
about
on.
Halo.
Shut up, Ben. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding with all this. I play newer stuff all the time, but no matter what we say, no one's ever going to be as loved as Nintendo.
I
They're
wonder.
so
I'm
unique.
curious why Sony and Microsoft they're not doing what Nintendo does. You don't ever hear them going out and copyright striking for
They have
old
better
PS1
IPs.
games
They have
and
better
stuff.
Yeah, they have better IPs.
Who?
But like,
No.
if you were emulating a PS1 game on YouTube, like Sony's not going after them.
I don't think
I'm-
so, and like I don't think that's much of a threat to people who are playing older games. I think it's more of
The
like,
new
The new
stuff.
stuff,
the
yeah.
newer stuff that's still selling in stores. You know,
So is that when you say I haven't read the article, but on the article with Nintendo striking somebody, is it retro games that they were playing, or is it like Switch games?
it's for more current
Oh,
modded.
so it's emulated
yes.
Switch games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And no one wants
See,
to play
And
the
they're
new
using
PlayStation games.
They're
So
using a platform called Ryujinx, and that platform is allowing.
See,
you to play.
then that Joker analogy does work because it's like fresh, new to the market. Like
Yes.
they're still trying to get their money from that stuff.
Yeah.
That
Did you
means
watch the Joker too?
I did. It's horrible.
I heard it was horrible.
Isn't that
And I
nothing but a
normally
musical.
I don't
listen
wanna watch a
to the
musical.
reviews, but gosh, it was bad. Now I have talked to a few people that did like it, so go see it if you want to watch it. But
I've heard nothing but bad
God,
things.
it was bad.
What
yeah.
dude wants to go see a musical? I mean, come
Wait,
on.
Joker 2 is a musical?
I didn't know it was a musical till I was sitting in there by the foot.
I think even
serious?
I think even Joaquin Phoenix didn't like it.
It's a musical?
By the fourth song, I looked at my son because we were watching together, and he looks at me and he goes, "Dad, is this a musical?" And I was like, "No, it's not a musical."
your son
by,
got
by the sixth song, I was like, "It's a musical."
Let's get out of here.
You
Let's walk
know
out of
what
this
song
theater.
would have saved it? Surprise, surprise! Yes. If you didn't
I'm
see
so
our-
glad that you used that.
If you didn't see our last episode where we did the music challenge, you'll get that joke. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know
It
it was a
is.
musical. What a dumb mistake.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was kind of cool. Like, oh, this might be all right. By the end, I would literally, me and my son were like, not another song.
Let
Please,
Lady
no
Gaga
more
in, and
songs.
it ruins it.
Curtis and I were talking before about it's interesting because it is hard to please the internet. We're hard to please, right? Gamers are hard to please. You're like, we want this. Give us something new. And then they give us something new. And we're like, that sucked. Just stick to what you know. Right? So you can use things like Star Wars Outlaws or Concord, like massive failures, right? And everyone's like, oh, just go with what we love. But then you make something you love and you're not pleased. It's like, I want to know, like, I wonder what level with these companies is like worth it for them to try new. Right? Because you're getting a new audience and it could go the way of Concord where everyone's like, this is garb and it's gone in a minute because there's no heart towards it because it's not a thing. It doesn't have, Nathan Drake in it or Kratos or Crash Bandicoot or Spyro.
I mean, as much as we like crap on like a lot of the games, I mean, there are a lot of games that do come out that are good for those systems.
Horizon Zero Dawn was great for PlayStation.
Last of Us has a great title.
Last of Us was great.
I honestly don't think that the remake of Silent Hill 2 won't be bad. Like, I actually want to play that. I want to see how it goes.
I want to play that.
I think
Yeah, I'll do that.
Nintendo was sitting around their boardroom and somebody went, I got a great idea. Alarmo. It's a brand new idea.
You know what they did? They took our name of like how we go like Bento, Cristo. They were like Alarmo.
Dang,
They're watching. We should sue them.
Copyright strike.
I mean, GameStop, right? GameStop. We were talking about, hey, if I was GameStop, go retro.
They're
And
watching.
bam, they
We know
went
they're
retro.
watching, bro. We know.
We
Hey,
take that as a compliment.
We'll take a
There
sponsorship.
you go.
We can be bought. I need to replace a $15,000 air unit. Please reach out.
But like I said, guys, just please check out those other channels like Mr. Sujanu and
Anyone
Pirate
but us.
Software. Like those guys, they're so much more in depth about this stuff. We're just a bunch of goofs.
Idiots. That's the word.